Well, hello and welcome from Porthcawl. Well, last week was the Elvis Festival. The sun was out and the place was packed. Just 7 days later, it's all very different. The cold, wet and windy autumnal weather is moving in, and the Elvises, they've flown south for the winter. And the seafront itself takes on a far more austere appearance. Personally, I like seaside towns out of season. There's something I like about the faded seaside glamour of the winter months. By the way, if you want to see how sunny and warm Porthcawl has been over this summer, I'll link some of my videos down below. Anyway, before the rain starts, join me as I take a walk along Porthcawl seafront and compare it to how it looked this time last week. The Porthcawl wind is back. If you haven't been to Porthcawl, it is a very windy place. So my plan today is pretty basic. I'm going to walk from the promenade here and the town beach, just down the Eastern Promenade over to the high tide and the caravan site, and just have a look how different Porthcawl is. It's sort of starting to shut down for the winter. Greetings from Porthcawl. So I've got to the end of the promenade by the harbour and the pier, and that area there is known as Cozy Corner. They're developing it at the moment. Very controversial. There was going to be a bigger scale development. It all fell through. But now they are doing something, but much smaller. They've decorated the boards around the sides. Paul Robeson, who addressed the miners out of Stellerford in the pavilion, he wasn't allowed to travel outside the US, but he addressed them by radio. Yeah, they've actually got an exhibit in the pavilion about it in the lower level. I show it on a previous video. I'll link that below as well. But anyway, Cozy Corner there. By the way, I don't want any locals moaning. Happy things in my comments. Generally. Cozy Corner. And we're coming up to the pier. And they're still working on it. It was meant to be finished by March 2022. The rain's still holding off. So let's go down past the harbour, down towards the fairground and the high tide. Let's go. So as you can see, they're still working on the Eastern Promenade. Most of it is open, but this little section around the harbour is still fenced off. Last week, this was just a wall of portaloos. I don't know if you can hear the wind picking up. There's actually a handful of people swimming on Coney Beach. And not like the open water swimmers with the wetsuits. These are just in their swimming shorts. So I'm now coming up to the cabin bar and the start of Coney Beach Fun Fair. Look how different it is today to last week. So I'm just walking past the Fun Fair and the beach. Next stop is the Buccaneer and the high tide. Last week, you couldn't move in this area. It was packed with drinkers, Elvises. But look at it today. The American donut stand. Somebody was asking me, was it still there? Yes. Coney Beach since 1949. Not a soul. And that rain started as well. Not too heavy at the moment. So I'm now outside the high tide. There's a shame. Lisa Marie's #1 donuts are all locked up. Well, as I mentioned earlier, personally, I like Porthcawl out of season. I like a lot of seaside towns during the winter months. The windswept beaches, the lack of crowds. Although saying that, last year, myself and Mel did go to the Canary Islands for a few weeks to get some sun. Well, last week, this road from Treco Bay to the high tide was packed. Elvis fans flowing that way to the festival. Today, I can see a couple of people and a dog. That's about it. And the rain's picking up a bit more. I think I'm going to turn around and head back. Last week, this car park had 2 big marquees in. Well, welcome to autumn in Porthcawl. Well, if you want to see more of Porthcawl in sunnier weather or find out more about Porthcawl's history, I've got some videos coming up next, and I'll see you in one of those. Bye.